11th meeting of the Danville Public Works Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Mike O'Kane.
Here.
Bob Iverson. Here. Jim Pichard.
Here.
Carolyn Wands.
Present.
Heidi Wilson.
Present.
Chairman Mike Poor.
Present.
6 present.
6 present, and we do have one vacancy. Okay, we do have a quorum. Thank you very much. Item number 2 is the approval of the minutes. Those will be from the September 13th, 2022 meeting. If there's no corrections, need a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item number 3, approval of the agenda. There are no removals from the agenda, so need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item number 4 is audience comments, but under 4A, we do have a public hearing for the petition to vacate an alleyway near 3215 North Vermillion Street for Squirrels Real Estate LLC. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of Squirrel Real Estate LLC? Okay, is there anyone here to speak against the alley vacation? Okay, we'll be voting on that later in the meeting. Madam Clerk, are there audience comments?
Thank you, Chairman. Kevin Gombert of 9 East Voorhees, you can go ahead and come to the podium. He's would like to speak about sidewalk issue and truck traffic.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I appreciate the time and the respect to be able to address the council. My name is Kevin Gombert. I live at 9 East Voorhees. I'm a disabled American veteran. A couple of issues I have. First of all, the sidewalk. The steps, the city step, or the sidewalk, they've replaced the sidewalk, which is graciously in front of my house. Then they replaced the steps. Several years back, when I say several years, a few years back, right before the pandemic, as you know, there was some sidewalk, not sidewalk, but curbing and sidewalk issues, and also they moved the water meter. Well, when they did all this and start jackhammer, it actually started crumbling my sidewalk from my steps almost all the way to my house. Spoke a few times with Sam, very nice guy, very cordial, appreciate it. At that time, I made had a verbal agreement with our city engineer, Dave Chanel. He said, look, Kevin, he said, don't worry about it right now. The city of Danville will replace that little bit of sidewalk. And when I say sidewalk, it's probably from maybe the podium to Mr. Parr's area, just a normal sidewalk, to your house when we come and do the big project that we're going to be doing. Well, obviously, the big project on Voorhees Street did get pushed back a year or so, which I get that. I've asked Sam. Sam said that city can't do it. I'm graciously asking if they can do it. I've even talked to Cross Construction. They were not so cordial. The site foreman said, I'll get back with you. I don't think there's no problem. I said, I'm even willing to help you, pay for it. And he's like, well, I'll get back with you. Never got back with me. I finally chased him down. He said his boss said, no, we're not going to do no private work. So I'm just asking if the city council can look at that and see, if you can help me out on that a little bit. So there again, like I said, it was a verbal agreement with me and Mr. Chanel. Obviously, I didn't get in writing because I didn't think I needed to. I thought, hey, you're going to do it. Wouldn't it cost that much more, or whatever. That's the first issue. The second issue, and there again, me and Mr. Cole spoke about it. The truck traffic. I feel there should be no semi-traffic at all from Voorhees and Vermillion all the way up to Bowman. And according to your guys' city ordinance, 71.070, it does state that truck traffic is from Voorhees Street, Bowman to Lynch Spur from Voorhees to Southgate. And the reason I ask this is because obviously now that there again, I'm not griping. I think it's a wonderful project. I've been there 52 years, and hey, that street's great now, or it's going to be great. But now that you've moved the street 3.5, 4 feet towards my house with that truck, literally we sit in our front room, and I can't even put, it's hard to even have pictures because it just vibrates the whole house and the windows and the whole bit. Because they come through there like, it's Indy 500. It's even worse now. I think it'll get a little better when they put the stop signs back up. But I'm requesting we put some kind of signage. I've talked to Sam. He said that there could be some kind of signage put up. But I just want everybody to be aware that that's, and I've talked to Danville Police Department, I talked to Lieutenant Miller, and he said there's something that we because these trucks are using Voorhees Street to go all the way Lynchburg, all the way out to Indiana. So instead of the designated truck routes that they should be using. But that's my two concerns, and once again, I appreciate your time and effort and everything you do for the city of Danville, because I know that your jobs are not thankless all times. And you can ask Sam. I'm usually pretty nice to Sam, and I'm not trying to say that pat on the back, but I believe you get a lot more things with honey than you do with salt and vinegar. So thanks again. You folks have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Mr. Gombert,
Yes,
not
sir.
only for your comments, but also for your service, and I'm sure we'll be checking into that. Okay. Thank you. Are there any other comments?
No, that's it.
Okay. Okay, under Chairman's comments, we do have someone new sitting up here at the DS with us, and Logan's going to introduce him.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring June down to the table tonight and just to put a face to the name. He's a new employee, well, semi-new, about, what are we in now, 3 weeks, June? Something like that? Just June Sohn. He's our new hired-on planner for the city. And I just wanted to have him come here and introduce himself. And if you want to give him a little bit of your background and what your favorite parts are about planning, how about that? Put you on the spot.
And don't say Logan.
No, please don't.
All right, nice to meet you, everyone. My name is June. I just finished my PhD in urban and regional planning at the University of Florida, and luckily I got a job here. What else? Originally from South Korea, but I went high school in Champaign, so I'm pretty much familiar about the Illinois. So, and I'm really excited to be here. And my favorite part, yeah,
About planning.
About planning.
about planning. I like to work for people. I mean, like for the people's to improve their quality of life, things like that. So that's why I studied on planning, and that's why I was searching for a job that I can really work for people, like not just on the not just on table and like writing papers, not things like that, but really practically work for people. Like that's why I was searching for this kind of job. So yeah,
Well, welcome aboard.
Welcome
thank
aboard.
you. I guess I was very
Yes.
I'd just add, we're really excited to have June here. He's probably more modest than what, he should be, but Logan and I, in interviewing him, we found that he really has a heart for the type of things that we need in this community. And like he said, for people in general, and that a lot of his passions aren't just for, it's not just the flashy stuff, all the new things. It's about, how modern technology can leave people behind and do other stuff like that, and just the impact of things that we do on all demographics across our community. And I think we're just excited to have him on board because he's got the mentality and a personality and an approach that we think Danville needs. So
thank you.
We'll get you on the speaking circuit at different clubs and neighborhood groups. Okay, well, welcome. Looks like the weather's going to change a little bit. Would they say minus 13 wind chill on Monday? No, not minus, but 13 degree wind chill on Monday?
That's it, I'm going back to Florida.
Oh, my gosh. Guess I'll have to close the pool. Anyway, we'll move on then to item number 6. We'll be approving the payrolls from October 7th, 2022. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson?
Yes.
Pashard?
Yes.
Wands? Wilson?
Yes.
O'Kane? 4,
Yes,
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. Number 7 is approval of vouchers payable. These would be from October 11th, 2022. Need a motion to put those on the table?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Pritchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Hoare,
Yes,
6 yes.
6 yes. And I'm glad we looked at my computer before all this was happening because I had August for my screen. So I had August the 19th and August the 27th. But anyway, we're good now. Okay, moving on to item number 8, Public Transportation. Director Beath, you have your monthly report.
The only thing I put in there that might be of interest, or maybe not, to everyone is that we just got all the lights in and around our facility replaced with LED lighting, which makes a big difference in our offices, but we also got a very nice, through the rebate program through Ameren, we got a big discount on the cost to get the lights replaced. So it was perfect timing because it was something that needed done, and we were able to take advantage of that. The second bullet point has already changed because it says we've hired another driver, but today we hired 2 drivers. So actually, we're only going to be 1 driver short, which means that we are probably within the next month or so going to be back up to full schedule. So, we're increasing quickly here. We didn't decrease so quickly, but we're increasing quickly. So if we can get all the routes back out, then, there may be a couple that we don't put back on the schedule because they were underperforming routes. But, we'll get the routes back out that we were already doing and be back up to full strength. So very happy about that.
I know some of the school kids really enjoyed riding the bus and seeing the facility. And
Was that in the paper? I didn't see it.
I don't know.
Jennifer
No,
came out.
They never showed up, I guess, with the. they
But
were
she
supposed-
met him out at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they enjoyed that very much because my grandsons,
Yeah.
Oh, good.
they got to ride the bus. They got to go down to the headquarters and see how the bus operates and how they take care of things. They had a good time.
Yeah, the bus wash is always their
Yeah.
favorite. They like to go through the bus wash.
But they thought it was going to have big brushes and all this spray and things, but.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. Any questions for Director Beath? Okay, thank you, Director. Okay, moving on to item number 9, Public Works, Director Carpenter. 9A is an ordinance providing for the payment of certain outstanding bonds of the Danville Public Building Commission. Need a motion to put that on the table.
So move.
Second. But how come you didn't have to read the whole headline like
Yeah, well,
Streeter
because,
knows has to read ours?
well, I don't look at the computer.
Just as a reminder, this will help us save over $400,000.
What we're basically paying off some bonds that we had, is that?
Early, that's correct. Our portion of the bonds for the public safety building.
Be nice if we could do it for some other bonds.
We did an analysis of that, and unfortunately, the savings wasn't nearly as much.
And you don't want to refinance bonds now.
No.
Okay, any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Pritchard,
Yes.
Hoare,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. If there's no objection, I'd like to take B and C together. They both are dealing with approving the purchase of real estate for community improvements. One of the properties are 1128 East Fairchild, 1130 East Fairchild, 1510 Valley View Avenue, and 1218 East Fairchild. If there's no objection, need a motion to put that on the table.
Well, I have a question.
Okay, we can put it on the table and you can ask a question. Unless you don't want to take them together. You don't want to take them both together?
Well, mine's about the Valley View.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm just taking both, the real estate purchases both together, if that's okay.
Well, I still have a question on the.
I know, but we can't discuss till we have it on the table, on
Okay,
the floor.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
okay.
Need a motion and a second.
So move.
Their second?
Second.
Okay,
just so we can discuss it.
Alderman Bouchard.
Well, I'm having trouble understanding about the $200,000 for the 3 properties around Fairchild and then that on Valley View. That's a lot of money to put into an area in Valley View when there's no benefit for it. What's the purpose of that? I mean, I know it needs to be cleaned up, but I mean, that's an expensive cleanup. So I don't understand.
Yeah, so that I'm not going to disclose the exact amount of the discussion, but that's a very small percentage of the amount that we're talking about on this transaction, with the purpose being for that property to just for it to be city controlled. There's always city maintenance going on out there and cleanups and all kinds of other stuff. You know, we hope to be able to do some work that, whether that be fence it or do something else that would allow us to better maintain that and limit the amount of city costs going into that in the long term. So that's something that we discussed, you know, Mayor, Carl, myself, others, and just for the small percentage of extra for that, they felt like it was worth it. So
Can you
These
tell
are all
us
three.
how large of an area this, how many acres, how many?
does it say in the legal? I can't remember the exact number.
I don't remember reading it.
it's
No, I didn't see
I want to say, is it 13? That sounds right. About 13 acres. It's mostly wooded area and ravines. It's not really what we would consider easily developable land. So it abuts Valley View as well as East View, where the guardrails are and people dump over all that land. It's basically 2 heavily dumped areas. It also has sanitary sewers that go through the property, which we do have easements for, mind you, already. But anyway, that's, I guess, Mayor, is there anything else that?
I would just say the primary portion of this money is going to buy the 2 commercial buildings on East Fairchild Street that are owned by Mr. Mauer. So it's those 2 buildings together. So if you were headed east on Fairchild Street and you were going to turn into Garfield Park, it's those 2 properties that are there just to the west of the entrance to Garfield Park. Both of those commercial buildings is the bulk of this purchase, and then the gentleman owns that other property as well. And our thought was, if we can pay just a little more to get that too, then maybe we could do something so that you and the neighbors in Holiday Hills and aren't dealing with so much trash all the time.
Right, and the 2, they're residential, multifamily residential properties. I believe the one has 8 units, the other one has 5. There by Fairchild Street, so they're not like single-family residential structures there.
So a majority of this money is going to Fairchild and not to.
Can we break that down? I'd like to know how much we're paying for 13 acres of land.
I mean, that's, I don't know, I guess that's up to maybe some advice beyond me of what should and shouldn't be discussed in this forum, I guess.
Normally, we don't discuss the price, the sale or price of, but we could certainly provide it to you. I think the estimates for those 2 commercial properties, though, the appraisal was well over, what was it?
No, there's a lot of dynamics. It was appraised lower than what you might expect, but there was a lot. Let's just say there was a lot of negotiation on this property. So
We can move it to the full council, and in the between now and the full council, have to get some clarifications just among us, not to bring it out in public as to what we purchased and things.
When it comes to purchasing real estate, the Open Meetings Act provides an exemption that allows either the council or this committee to go into closed session. That's the time to discuss and disclose price. After the deal has been approved, I don't think we'd be voting on it if the buyer or seller wasn't willing to accept what has been negotiated. But once the deal is completed, then that can become public knowledge if somebody's interested.
So the same person owns
All 3
all
properties.
3?
That's correct.
Because it was confusing when that all of a sudden
Was
Valley
me
View
too.
got
The
lumped
Valley,
in
with the
Garfield
Valley
Park.
View,
It
Yeah.
was confusing to me.
it
Yeah,
was,
it was very confusing.
Essentially, we were negotiating for the Garfield Park properties, and this person said, I also own this property, and we said, great.
Yeah.
People dump there all the time. We've had our team out multiple times. Alderman Pashard and the good folks of Holiday Hills are always out there cleaning up mess. So we saw it as an opportunity to address a long-standing problem for that neighborhood.
Yeah, and in that negotiation, that was something the seller proposed in order to help get to a target number that he was looking for. So,
Where all that dumping's going on, that road was never meant to be a permanent road, right?
But if we ever close it, I think that they're going to take me and Alderman Pashard and Alderman Byrd out in effigy.
Yeah.
yeah, the other, so
that's
yeah,
for
that
sure.
Eastview was a temporary road constructed, I believe, when Bowman Avenue was realigned, and we've contemplated closing that, in the past. But the other thing to remember, someday Bowman and Voorhees is going to have to get reconstructed, and that may be a viable, bypass for that at that time as well.
But it was never built to standard.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, the road condition's actually not that bad. It's just people like to throw trash at that spot. So,
Okay. So we're voting on 9B and 9C. Roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Pashard,
No.
Wands,
No.
Poor,
Yes.
4 yes.
4 yes, okay. That will move to the full council. 9D is an ordinance vacating an alley or part thereof pursuant to Chapter 30 of the City Code. Need a motion, put that on the table, please.
So move.
Second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Second.
Questions?
Are there any utilities in that? Yeah, and if there is, are there easements to them?
Yeah, so this one was an interesting one. I don't think the utilities, nor the city, nor the purchaser of this property even knew that these alleyways existed.
Well, there's lots of them in town.
Yeah. So upon the acquisition of the property, a property survey was completed and discovered that amongst a lot of vacated alleyways at one time in the early 1900s, they either intentionally missed these two or just forgot about them. So they didn't get platted, but over the years, it just was presumed that it was just a part of the Montana Mike's property. So Ameren did not have an easement on these two sections of property, but we've worked it out to where they're going to have easements on these segments due to streetlights and some wires running through it.
Okay,
So yes, it'll be a general public utility easement for both of these parcels.
Logan, where's those? I mean, I see your property that you're describing as the alleyways east and west, north and south.
Yeah.
I didn't know there's an alleyway there.
They're
Nobody did.
yeah, there technically isn't. They're just not platted nor vacated to this parcel. It was platted per the Vermilion County GIS as the whole parcel, hence the confusion. But it was discovered that they were never vacated. So this is really going to clean up the property, and it shouldn't cause any issues because there will be utility easements on them just in case.
Good.
Yeah, you wouldn't know they were alleys.
Yeah.
They're just like part of the parking lot behind
Surrounding
Red
Montana
Lobster
Mike's.
and Montana Mike's.
Yeah,
And it was used to go place to place back there, but yeah.
yeah.
That was part of the old Dixie Drive-In, you know? It was, way back when.
You're older than us. We don't.
Not much.
Probably not.
Any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Chairman O'Kane,
Yes.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Pashard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. 9E is a resolution amending the contract for bid number 694, the 2022 Seal Code Program. Need a motion, put that on the table.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions?
I assume we just did more feet, or
yeah, most of the costs we added, what was it, 4th Street and Highland Boulevard, because that road was is progressing to the falling apart stage rapidly. So, yeah, we estimated that at about 50,000 to add. So we actually came in, when you include that, we came in under budget. But, but yes, that's the bulk of the reasoning. So there's a couple other little items, but nothing of consequence. So.
Other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Hoare?
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. 9F is a resolution amending the contract for bid 689 Countryway Drainage Improvements. This is amended and was a new explanation was sent out on the resolution. So, motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
So it's been keeping it dry this summer, right?
Yeah, it's
No
it's
rain.
looking pretty good. Yeah, they got it seated, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Bouchard?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Hoare?
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. 9G is a resolution awarding the contract for bid number 705, the building safety, code enforcement, business license software, and authorizing a budget amendment for the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. Need a motion to put that on the table.
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Logan?
Go over it. It's been long awaited. I think we spoke about this about a year ago. We sent this out to bid and actually received 7 qualifications. So we went out for RFQ on this one, and 7 software companies sent their qualification sheets back to us, and the awardee, Citizen Serve, was scored bar none the lowest being the best out of the 7. It is our intent to replace the current operating permitting system to allow just a way more user-friendly experience to the contractors in the city of Danville. We're pretty behind on the times. We're mostly just permit applications at the front window. We just went into digital permit applications last year, but that was more of a Band-Aid. We need a all-inclusive permitting system and software and link to submit and pay for permits. That's the other benefit of this system. It actually has a payment processing built into it that we already have a collection system for in the city of Danville. So at no added cost, we can have a payment processor online for contractors to pay via card on the internet instead of calling it in or coming in and swiping their card at the lobby. Just another big cost-saving point behind this transition. The current software provider, they continuously grew throughout the years, and I don't know if it was because of the size of their company, but they lost in-house service. We actually had to pay extra consultation fees for basically a professional coder to change our current operating system to issue permits, and it wasn't cheap. So this is all in-house coding work at Citizen Serve. So you'll see a little bit of cost increase. That's not because it's a more expensive program. We're actually going to be adding in another sort of subpart of it, the program as current Acela has. We're going to add the city clerk into this for business licensing and things like that as well. So they will be all electronic and online as well.
Great. Questions? Corporation Counsel.
There are other components to this software too. It will facilitate, streamline, and provide better service for the environmental code inspectors. This software has a component that is clearly geared for this. Right now with Acela, they can do certain things, but this will provide them with the opportunity to digitize almost all their activities. Plus, it will provide them with an easy way of developing a database along with what Logan is talking about by property. So if somebody wanted to find out something about a property, not just environmental code inspection, it'll set up basically a mini database for that property. The other thing it'll do, another module that we're adding is rental registration. Right now, rental registration is simply we put out a notice to the landlords saying it's time for rental registration, and they kind of wander in and they bring in paper applications and money and all of that. This will all be able to be done online, which will relieve legal, in particular my legal assistants, with a lot of the paperwork that they have to do and all, and the follow up, hey, you didn't register your property. This will provide a database where we can instantly, without going through all the paperwork, find out who has and who hasn't registered, who has and who hasn't paid. It'll also allow them to pay online, submit their applications and pay online. And it will generate letters to them to remind them to pay online. I also believe that there's a component, and Logan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, where citizens can find out pieces of information about property. Our current system doesn't work at all for that. So it'll have a much more forward-facing component than we have right now. A lot of communities, I'm familiar with 2 communities who use this. I've not used it because that's not what my job entails. They sing praises about Citizen Serve. It's really a fine company, and it's geared for the very things that Logan and Public Works and legal need done.
Logan, you said there is no, payment processor, open edge, host paid, no fee.
So there will be a credit card fee,
Okay.
upon that. But since we already host a billing collection company at the city of Danville that's compatible with Citizen Serve, there's no added cost to actually build that and code that into our program. Otherwise, it was going to cost an extra, I think, $20,000 to $30,000 to code that in. So we don't have to pay for that.
Okay. Yes.
About how long will that take us to?
That's a great question. I really hope to have this installed in 8 months, and let's call it through the learning curve in 12. But just realistically, probably around 12 months, we'll have this up and running and completely out of our current operating system.
Thank you. Not soon enough.
Okay.
The great thing I love about this, Alderman, is it allows, it'll allow you to look, but it'll also allow us to be able to tell you if you call me about a specific address, now I have to call 3 different departments to find out what's going on with it. This will streamline it, and it'll be in one place.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. 9H is a resolution approving the 1-year extension of environmental code enforcement software license agreement. Need a motion to put that on the table.
So moved.
Second.
Logan?
Yeah, unfortunately, due to the installation timeline for, I would say, any permitting software, we're going to have to operate out of 2 code enforcement software systems for 1 year. The inspectors are not going to be very happy for that little bit of time, but we're going to have to operate out of Acela and Citizen Serve for several months at the same time. Plus this Acela contract, it's up for renewal in November, so we'd have to extend it 1 year. We were fully expecting to have to operate out of 2 systems for 1 year for implementation.
Are we currently PDF fillable forms on everything? No.
We use Laserfish.
Yeah, we can send fillable forms to contractors or anybody that needs it, but if you're referring to online, yeah, it's a form of that.
Okay. That's so nice when you can.
Yeah.
We just can't accept payments.
Yeah. Okay, other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. 9I is a resolution amending the contract for construction engineering services for the Denmark and Old Ottawa roadway and pedestrian improvements and amending the fiscal year 2022-2023 Fund 107 Infrastructure Development Budget. Need a motion to put that on the table, please.
So moved.
Second.
Who wants, any questions, or who wants to say anything, or? And,
Just for fun, Sam, do you know when it might be done?
I don't know for sure, but we are hoping to have the guardrail contractor back next week or the week after. And as soon as that is done, they'll be hot to trot on paving work and, you know, getting the projects wrapped up. So there's only a handful of items left. I know they're very close, but that's the hold up right now. So
Sam, did Comcast did finally locate there?
I think Comcast is located in 18. There's some AT&T conflict too. So there's spots where it's not a conflict, but it's so close that we can't necessarily just drive posts. So it's verifying the exact location all over the place under the pavement without tearing holes in the pavement, and then getting the posts in. You know, so it's just kind of a delicate operation where and nobody wants to commit to saying, "Oh yeah, go for it." You know, so understandably so.
So, long story short, Chairman, we've had supply chain issues which have delayed a lot of work. Thankfully, not a lot, but a little bit of weather and a lot of utility relocation, because essentially everyone who lives across the lake would be without telephone, computer or internet service, and cable if we hit the wrong thing.
Yep.
That just brings some portable satellites in.
Yeah. I did, you know, tonight's agenda made me think I need to start bringing updates of the projects that we're not over budget on. I know it looks like this. There are vastly, I would say, more projects that we don't bring back to you that we come in under budget. But I'm kind of like, well, I ought to do that just so it doesn't look so bad.
I think I ever voted on one out of budget.
So,
I always like to remind people when they call about this that there's a sanitary sewer line that promoted all of this. You know, instead of in the drinking water, it's now clear.
That's right.
yeah. So, once that's all finished, then you remove the concrete.
Yeah, once the guardrail's in, the concrete barrier will be removed. They will work on paving the center section that currently doesn't have paving, and then we still have to do asphalt milling on parts of Denmark Road and on Winter Avenue and a little bit on Logan, and then repaving all of that. There is still seeding to do, and I think just a couple little odds and ends besides that. So we're very close. The paving work will go quite quickly.
It seems awful narrow if you're paving that center and
Yeah.
I hate driving on it with this guardrail and the concrete. Like, man.
Yep.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Vice Chairman O'Kane,
Yes.
Alderman Iverson.
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. Next two items deal with the city-owned building facilities agreement and also for the city-owned streetlights. No problem, or there's no objection, I take those both together for a vote. We do have Mr. Jared McMorris is here from Grid Energy to explain things to us once we get it on the floor. Okay? So need a motion and a second for both J and K.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Ms. McMorris, you
Do you want to just give us a brief summary of?
Do my best, Mayor Williams.
We went to school together, so he and I both know that the other can sometimes not be so brief.
Yes, and if anyone knows my father, Jeff McMorris, that's a little long-winded as well. Both your streetlights in your city-owned facilities are due they come due here in November. And so now is the time at the next council meeting to extend both contracts. I've presented or given information to Ashland to share with you this evening. If anyone doesn't have this, I have a couple other copies.
it's on its computers.
Okay, fantastic. I think it's probably no shock to anyone that energy, and like a lot of things, has just absolutely gone through the roof. And so my recommendations are to stomach as short amount of period as you possibly can, because we do expect within 2 to 3 years that we will be back to a new floor, the old floor being in the 3 to 4 cent, 5 cent range. The new floor probably being the 7 to 8.5, 9 cent range. Right now, you're looking at pricing that I've offered to you that all are 20 to 25% below the current Ameren tariff price, which is great. That's the good news. The bad news is, as of November, when these new contracts kick into place, you're essentially more than doubling your current contract. And so as you look forward to the 23-24 budgets, it's definitely something that you need to plan on. We did get contracts from 4 suppliers for your city-owned facilities. AEP was the lowest for the 24 months. However, if you look closely, Homefield is within 0.003 of a penny, which is minuscule. And I know that Ashland had issues in the past with AEP and billing. And so if this pricing stays and holds the same for next week, which it will not, it always changes. It's a stock market. It's an energy market. It changes hourly. But I will provide another update next Tuesday for your review. If it is as close as this is, her recommendation and my recommendation is to stay with Homefield, your current supplier, because it is so close and because they are so much better to work with. The other one is your streetlights. Similar situation about a year ago, we would not be talking about extending streetlights. We would have all been going back to Ameren supply. But the market has improved to a degree where we're now seeing 20 to 25% savings. I do recommend whatever you guys do next Tuesday, as long as it gets out of committee, to approve the same term length so that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're doing this exact same thing with both programs at the same time. Also, a reminder, I am on vacation next week, so I will not be able to be here next Tuesday. But when you do make the approval next Tuesday, you are approving not a price, you are approving a term length, and in perhaps this situation, you are approving Homefield versus AEP, if that's what you so choose. Because just like I said, the stock market changes, and on Wednesday's price, when I'm able to get a contract to Mayor Williams for signature, the market will change again. I'll open up any questions.
So, however, the rest of the rest of our county has been crying about how crazy their bills have been. Ours haven't gone up because you all permitted us to enter into such an agreement like this to save them money. However, unfortunately, when this agreement ends, we are going to see substantially increased prices like other folks. But if we're able to, enter into a contract, it will be lower than what folks are paying through Ameren.
And Jared, I believe the last time, was it a 3-year we entered into last time, or 36 months? Or?
It was definitely either 2 or 3. I think it was 3. That sounds accurate.
Because COVID and everything. It was 2?
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
2. And I think that we did this with the streetlights. We started on the streetlights because we were able to start the franchise agreement, which is bringing you cash payments for your Ameren franchise agreement, which is a much better situation as opposed to getting a discount on your streetlights. So it gave twofold. You're getting cash up front to do whatever you want with, and then on top of it, we can save you 20% off of the Ameren tariff price. In this case, currently today, 20%.
On the streetlights, and this may be for Director Carpenter, but are they replacing streetlights with all LED now?
We've transferred dollars to almost everything we have is LEDs now.
I mean, the street lights and everything?
The brightest spot in Danville is the parking garage across.
It's great.
But yes, everything the city owns is
safe.
Okay.
LED by now.
Fantastic. That's going to help with your usage, obviously, going down.
These are LED. Pretty cool. Now they make a 2x4 bulbless LED drop-in. $65.
The last thing I'll plug, if you have just a second, Mayor Williams, is the work that we do for your residents. We also cover your municipal aggregation, which is your residential program. That one is a 3-year contract,
Okay.
which expires in December of next year of 23. Currently, right now, your rate is essentially 5 cents flat. So while the rest, anyone else that is not on the current Ameren price, they're experiencing 14 cent per kilowatt pricing, where you guys here in the city of Danville and several other communities around that are part of the program are still hedged and are at 5 cents. And at the time when we signed that, we were crossing our fingers that we were going to beat the Ameren tariff price, and we came very close. Immediately it was 5.5, but then in subsequent years. And so you are hedged for another year. And so your savings, your residential households, approximately $65 a month.
Thanks for that reminder. I forgot that our residential is a little bit longer, so at home we'll still be good. At
Yes.
the city, we're going to be paying more.
Yes, that's correct.
I know solar companies are going around saying how the Ameren's rates are going up, blah, blah,
They
blah,
are.
you know, go to solar. So we're only at 5 cents on
Yep.
ours. But anyway. Any other questions for Jared? Okay,
Thank you for your time.
thank you very much. Roll call.
Alderman Iverson?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Four?
Yes,
6 yes.
6 yes, thank you. Director, item of information.
Yeah, the only thing I've got is if everybody saw that picture, it was passed around.
Steve will have to take a picture of it.
Anyway, as the mayor's explained to some of you, that was found in Ellsworth in the river probably about 2 months ago. I don't remember the gentleman's name.
Brian Mikowski.
Yeah, and Steve and I went down and looked at it. He was seeking help to get it out of there. We had a plan, but then him and his buddies just lifted it and drug it and finally got it out of there on their own. He took it to his house. If you don't know about wood, that water preserves wood as long as it stays underwater. So he's been wetting it down with a hose on a trailer in his house. We went and purchased a 300-gallon horse tank, and he brought it to us today, and we lifted it up and put it in that horse tank and filled it full of water. So anytime you guys might want to come by and actually lay eyes on it, it is quite a piece of work. I don't think that we originally thought it was part of the grist and it was grinding, and it's not. There were fins on this thing, but it's got the old spikes. That's not what you call them, wooden spikes driven through it that holds it together. It's actually 4 pieces. There are old original nails still in that thing too. And to see them after who knows how long underwater, 150 years at least, and they're not rusted out is an actual modern marvel. We've kind of nicknamed it the wood year tire because it literally has grooves in it. Looks like it's a skid steer tire.
Wow.
So it is quite a piece of history for the city of Danville.
It's really cool. So Mr. Mikowski, the river's been a little bit low, so he saw a very small piece of it sticking up and thought that's something. So he and his son spent 2 days digging this out of our river over in Ellsworth Park. When they brought it out, they were like, wow, we think this is something. So they contacted us, of course, and we helped with transportation, and then they contacted the museum as well. In following up, I reached out to the anthropology department at the U of I, and they came over and did an assessment of it. Essentially, they say that this is assuredly a pre-Civil War water wheel, and they believe, in working and talking with Sue Richter, the director of the museum, they believe it's from the 1831 Gilbert Street Bridge, or Gilbert Mill, I should say. And it's really amazing. It is in really great condition. They have the successor, which was the stone mill that would have replaced this. Something that's really cool about this is it flows horizontally instead of vertically. And they sent me some cool pictures of what, like basically illustrations from 200 years ago that would have showed how this operated. So we have a great piece of history. We've learned that there is a curing process where you can treat this. So the anthropology department is working with us to procure the solution, so we can salvage it. Essentially, it has to sit in this solution, we believe, for 2 years. So it'll be a couple of years yet until we're able to display it, fully publicly and such. But our bicentennial is coming up in 2027, so we should have it in plenty of time before then. And working with Carl and Steve and these guys on our team on possible ways to display it where it can't be robbed. So really stoked about this.
Yep. And the mayor knows about the history, but Logan Avenue used to be called Mill Street. Then, thus the name Mill Street Bridge and everything else, because that was because of all the different mills along the river, back when Danville was first settled and things. But that's really neat. Really
Almost
neat.
as old as the town itself.
Wow.
Lisa, I'm sure you can have that for the record.
I'll show it to you.
I love history. Okay.
That will probably literally, not probably, it literally helped build Danville.
Yep. And after leadership, you took leadership tomorrow. I took leadership Danville way back when. The history lessons we learned. Oh my gosh. Okay. No other items of information. No need for closed session. Items of information.
Chairman, I have a couple
Yes.
of things, if I may. We've received several thank you notes. I always like to share those when I'm able. I forgot one of them, but it was from the Crime Stoppers. They just wanted to thank the aldermen and women for their support. We were actually featured in the state newsletter because we're one of the only municipalities that gives directly to Crime Stoppers to help them keep going. So the board was just really appreciative of that. I also have a letter here from the class of '82, the Danville High School class of '82, who held their reunion here this weekend. They just said the Danville High School class of '82 would like to give a tremendous thank you to Mayor Williams and the City of Danville Public Works Department, Danville Auxiliary Police Department, and the Parks Department, and all of the departments that helped us get our permit. Our theme, "We Are Stronger Together," came to life through your generous support. We will be forever grateful for your commitment to our community. So that was really cool.
Is that what they did at Lincoln Park, Mayor?
That's
Gave
correct.
away fed everybody.
It was a great community service. Also, I wanted to give you all an update. Today, I interviewed the remaining 2 candidates for Ward 1 Alderman, and I hope to have a recommendation for you next Tuesday. We had some really good applicants. We were concerned about that previously. We had, I think, 6 or 7 individuals who submitted interest to me officially, so I'm excited for that, and hope to have that for you soon. I also have to share with the committee some sad news. Unfortunately, Danville has lost 2 of our treasurers in the last couple of days. One of them is Mr. Gary Lickfoot. For those of you who don't know, you may not know him because he's so behind the scenes, but if you've seen any set at Danville Light Opera for the last 40 plus years, he either built it, helped build it, or helped design it. He was a really humble person, a really good-natured guy, had a great sense of humor, and just always willing to help in any way. So our prayers are with the Lickfoot family. And we also lost Miss Patty Ann Liggins. If you've ever been to a funeral in Danville, you've likely seen her as one of the ushers. A very kind woman, a hearty welcome, who is always there for people in both their most joyous and also their saddest occasions. So just our thoughts and prayers are with her family as well. We lost 2 great Danville people who did things for folks that you may not notice right away, but you would certainly notice it if they weren't there.
Yeah, Gary's very responsible for getting the deal on their new location and remodeling, and yep, it will be missed. Okay, committee members' comments.
I'd like to thank Public Works or whoever did it, but anyway, I don't remember the name on it, of the explanation of the roads that you are fixing. That was very helpful. My phone has almost stopped ringing. So evidently the people are reading it, and I thought it was very good. And it even gave me some answers when I do get the calls. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you.
Sam put that together for us at a time when I didn't realize how much else he had going. So sorry for that, Sam. And also, but I do thank you because like Alderman Juan said, I've even seen online, believe it or not, Facebook folks educating other Facebook folks who are saying nasty things. Well, it says if you read this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, people are actually paying attention some. So
And people
thanks.
are forwarding it to other people
Yes.
so they can see it too.
Sometimes even the city engineer has to be drug kicking and screaming into doing stuff. So
Hey.
I was in my office alone though, so nobody saw it.
I'd like to say
Alderman
one
Bouchard,
thing.
yes.
Our people are paying attention to what goes on in these meetings and all the work that's being done in the city. And I do appreciate that episode there where that they had acknowledged and kind of explained out about the roads, because I get a lot of those myself also. But one other thing is Thursday night will be our last meeting of the year for HHA Neighborhood Association. Our mayor will be our guest speaker. We're having a taco bar. You all are invited. The wife and a couple other ladies are going to have plenty of food and drinks and dessert. And this will be our last meeting of the year, and try to come out and support our associations and our mayor. It'll be at 6 o'clock at the community church at the corner of Bowman and Holiday. And it's a nice time. We usually run about 20 people. Sometimes we vary, but we along with all the other neighborhood associations are suffering in attendance, but we're working at it. So if you can, try to make an effort to try to come out and support us. Appreciate it.
Lincoln Park Historic District Neighborhood Association, they're having a cleanup day on Saturday. Starts at 9. We're gonna try and clean the park up and around the park and view the house, see if any neighbors need any help. So I'll be at the Covered Bridge Festival, but I'd rather be cleaning up.
Vermilion Heights Association has started up again, and I was at the meeting last week, I think it was, and they had over 30 people. So that was really, I thought that was excellent. It's their second meeting.
You have a new president too, right? That group has a new president?
Yeah, I can't think of her name right now, but she did a really good job.
You're gonna go another month, I think, aren't you?
They're going one more month.
Yeah.
I amazed my wife and got her out on a Friday night. I don't usually do that. Went down to the Fisher, and I was amazed. That was entertainment. It was people ought to, if they come back, they ought to come back, or people ought to go to that show. It was amazing. They were very talented.
Vice Chairman O'Kane, speaking of Pitch Meeting, they're a nonprofit out of Nashville. Essentially, they provide a very highly skilled band, live band, that gives up-and-coming songwriters a potential to come and perform with them. So what they did is they kind of did a set of standards of old, goodies that most of us would know. Then they invited some Danville folks who are aspiring songwriters up to play with them. Now these folks are playing literally just on stage. And then they did some of their own songs that they have coming, but it's incredible. And they plan to be back in December. If you like good music, you should be there. I mean, they did some of everything, right, Chairman? And I think we should be able to sell them out because it was phenomenal.
Yep.
The rest of the happenings down there I was down there, and the children were having so much fun. I just enjoyed sitting back and watching them. They were everywhere.
Once again, we had a couple thousand people. We had great police and fire presence. The firemen put up an awesome display with smoke, with the smoke machine and all that kind of stuff. So great time downtown. Next month is Potter Fest. It's going to be even bigger and better. There will be Quidditch matches here in the Kresge lot, and I think it's the Tri-Wizard tournament is going to be held at the library this year. So.
Then you have the carriage rides in November, the Night Lights Parade. My
Yes,
goodness.
we have a lot of good things coming up. So we're going to certainly be busy.
There's nothing to do.
And no jobs either, Chairman.
Yeah.
There's my two favorite lies about Danville. So.
Okay, anybody else? All righty, having satisfied the agenda, need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.